What's up, everybody? Eldridge Bell back with another edition of Letter of Sports Show. And man, oh man, that game last night, Warriors, Cavs, Game 6. Warriors lose. Cavs pretty much dominated the entire game, and we're going to see a Game 7 on Sunday. I got my wish, see a full 7-game series, and I got to give kudos to Tyronn Lue, the Cavaliers, and especially LeBron James, because a lot of people were flaming him, saying, man, if you're gonna go down, if you're gonna lose 4-1 and only win one game, how can you call yourself the best player in the world? Which I get. But I'm glad he answered the bell and had like a tremendous performance to get back in the series. And he had a huge help in Kyrie Irving, who I thought had a subpar series up until around game 4, game 5. So kudos to Kyrie Irving getting up and getting Mr. Buckets. He's getting buckets. He had a solid game. I think 23 points, 24 points, somewhere in there. But LeBron James, 41, 11 and 8, just almost a triple-double. That man's putting on a show. And what I said in the other video, in my preview video, is that he's actually having confidence in his jumper, which has always been my biggest critique of him. When he misses 4 or 5 jumpers, he hesitates so much, and he becomes predictable. But last game, he had confidence. He was hitting threes. He was hitting 15-footers. He was getting to the rack, and that's when he is truly unguardable, is when you don't know if he's going to shoot or drive. So kudos to that man for someone telling him and getting in his ear, hey, shoot the rock. You got the green light. You've earned that in your career. Kudos to that. And another player who I got to give credit to, and I kind of flamed him earlier in the series, is J.R. Smith, because before he was inconsistent, didn't really show up. Now he's been engaged defensively, which has not been his modus operandi for most of his career. His jumper's falling down, and he's getting to the rack, which I've always said, hey, when your jumper's not falling, don't sit back and try to shoot fadeaway threes. That doesn't make sense. Get to the rack because you have enough skill to get to the rack. So he's been engaged fully. I had a couple of steals, a couple of good defensive plays, and one player who I thought was going to go to work last game was Kevin Love. I thought he had the mismatch going into this game, and he got 7 points, but I thought he was going to be more. Hopefully for Game 7 he can show up and do more, because I believe in Game 7 they're going to need a solid game out of Kevin Love to win Game 7. But I'll get to that in another video when I do a preview for Game 7. But the man who I knew was going to do work the moment Andrew Bogut was ruled out for the series, Tristan Thompson. Oh my God. That man went to work. They got to figure out a way to control Tristan Thompson, because he is dominating the rebounds. He cannot be stopped. He is putting on a show. He got a double-double, I think 14 or 15 points, somewhere 13 rebounds, somewhere in there. He dominated He dominated defensively as well. He did a great job against Stephen Curry, which is pretty impressive for a guy who's 6'9" and that versus a guy who's like 6'3", 6'4". So he did a good job defensively, and he did a great job on the board. So Tristan Thompson, huge game, and I knew he was going to do that. I'm glad he answered the bell, because he now has the advantage over everybody on the Golden State's team. So kudos to him, and kudos to the city, because they finally get a chance to potentially get a championship in Cleveland. So way to have heart, Cleveland. Way to have heart. Now, for the Warriors. Whew. You lose Andrew Bogut, which a lot of people didn't think he did much, because he didn't get a lot of points. But man, you see what he does in protecting the rim, and you see what he does in contesting for rebounds. Because Tristan Thompson, like I said just a few seconds ago, he dominated. So losing Andrew Bogut was huge. Draymond Green, he's got to have a bigger role. He's got to have a better game. Overall, the Warriors had made the same mistake they made in Game 5, where it took them so long to start the first quarter and get offensively in rhythm. So they got down by a lot, and Cleveland taking control of the game, never let them really get back into the game. I know there was at one point they got down to like 7 or 8 points, or they relinquished the lead. Not to relinquish the lead, but the lead got cut down to 7 or 8 points. That was really the closest the game ever got. But the Warriors for Game 7 cannot afford to go a minute, maybe 2 minutes without getting buckets to start the game off. You can't have that. The Warriors have to find a way to get in rhythm and get buckets early and often. Now, the good thing is they're at home for Game 7, so that's going to be a huge boost for them, especially for the role players. But Klay Thompson, Stephen Curry, you guys got to do better. Now, I know Stephen Curry, he had 30 points before he got ejected. Klay Thompson had 24, 25 points. But most of their dirt was done in the later part of the later part of the game, when the game was kind of out of hand already. So they got to start off from beginning to end and keep the game close or blow the Cavaliers out. That's really the only way you can actually stop this new resurgent Cavalier team. Harrison Barnes, you got to play a lot better. Right now, you've been kind of mediocre. Haven't really seen much from you. I've seen more from Leandro Barbosa. He's had a good couple of games. Sean Livingston, he hasn't had the impact that he's had earlier in the series, like Game 1 through 3. So he has to have a better Game 7. Steve Kerr, I don't know what he has to do to get his team better in rhythm. I mean, they're getting open shots, but they're just not falling. And I don't know if that's maybe the nerves are getting to the Warriors. Maybe they're just uncomfortable because the Cavs are surging. I don't know. But he's got to find a way to get this team mentally back into the series, because I thought they were disengaged for the first part of the series. And then in the second quarter, I kind of felt that they kind of pressed too much, and they try to get too cute. Just play simple basketball. I mean, they had a lot of turnovers, and that's another thing. Turnovers have got to be cut down. They had too many chances when the game was kind of close, and they had these turnovers where it just shifted the momentum back towards the Cavs. So you got to cut down the momentums. And Stephen Curry, you got to stop the turnovers too, because you had a couple of bad turnovers where it's just, oh my God, come on, just make this easy pass or get the bucket and try to get a foul. Now, some people are gonna say the officiating was terrible. I mean, there's always gonna be some calls you miss. I don't think the Stephen Curry six foul was a foul when he actually ripped the ball from Kyrie Irving. I don't think that was a foul. And a lot of people on social media are saying like he overreacted when he fouled out. I'm like, look, it's Game 6 of the NBA Finals. He threw his mouthpiece. This is people's jobs. I mean, people get upset at a YMCA game. So I don't feel like it changes my opinion of Stephen Curry. Like, I'm glad he showed some emotion, showed some frustration, showed some heart. So I'm perfectly fine with it. Go to work, Stephen Curry, show some emotion, and what really matters is how you come back. So you showed some emotion, you got frustrated. That happens to everybody who plays sports. Anybody who says you don't get frustrated hasn't played sports. And I'm quoting that. That's a true truth. So, but it really matters how you come back in Game 7. Do you come back and you try to do too much, or do you come back motivated where you just lighten everybody up? That's the key. It's a delicate balance. So, the Warriors got to regroup. They gotta take their lumps and sit here and watch the film and see how can they come back and how can they control this Cavaliers team at home in Game 7. Now, you gotta wonder about Andre Iguodala, because he hurt his back and he was visibly hurt throughout the game. So you wonder, can he go or can he be effective in Game 7? Hopefully he can, but if they lose Andre Iguodala, I don't know. It's going to be a uphill battle for the Warriors. So hopefully he can play. Let me know what you guys think. How did the Cleveland Cavaliers, in your mind, come back in this series? And tell me what you think about for Game 7, because I think it's going to be an interesting game. I got to think about it. Don't know yet who I'm going for, but it's been a good series. It's been a lot of storylines in this series. So let me know what you guys think. Thanks again for watching. I'm out.